Hello everybody and welcome back to the Director of Football Challenge with Livorno. Now, the summer transfer window has been and gone, and I know what you're thinking. Has our Director of Football did it again? Has he not spent a penny? Yeah, he's not spent a penny. So this is our transfer business for the summer, and as you can see, we've spent £1.5 million, all of which was spent on loans. Tino Parisi's left the club for £92,000. You'll not have seen too much of him. He did make an embarrassing amount of appearances for me, actually, due to him being our only right back, really. But he has now left the club. He's went to Vicenza. Good luck to him. But now, let's start with the incomings now. As you can imagine, a lot of these free signings are pretty much the same as they were last season. A lot of 19-year-old Italian strikers, actually, coming into the club to bolster our under-20s. The first of which was Mattia Creti, a 2-star, 4-star central midfielder. He's going to sit now at under-20s, and you never know, he might improve over the course of the season. Simone Montenegro, pretty much exact same, central midfielder, come right midfielder. Italian, 19 years old, 1-star, 3.5-star, not good enough. Bon Giovanni, a young striker, 19-year-old. He plays up front naturally, or is it left wing naturally? Again, another one who's never going to make it into the first team. Pasquale Carlino, another free transfer, another attacking midfielder, another Italian, not good enough. Nannini, another attack midfielder, 20 years old this time, another Italian, not good enough. Michel Savillo, a striker from Fiorentina, not good enough. We did confirm the signing of Brian Galvan, who's went straight into the first team squad, an attacking midfielder from Argentina, who might be first choice, he might not be. Now, one of the reasons why I'm more optimistic going into the start of this season than I was last season is our loan signings are definitely better than they were last season. We'll start with Andrea Barberis, who we've signed for £75,000 per month, so he is costing us £750k over the course of a season. But just look at him, he's so much more well-rounded than any of our other central midfielders. Pretty much apart from Agazi, I guess. His determination's great, he's physically well-rounded, mentally he's spot on, technically he's okay as well. He can play in the Carolero, he can play in the box-to-box, he can pretty much play any role in the central midfielder position pretty comfortably, so I'm actually delighted to have got his signing. And as you can see, he's a 3.5-star player in our squad, and that's a decent player for most Serie A sides. That is really unusual. Next up was Luca Garitano. We did bring him back from Chievo. This time it's another loan. I was sort of hoping for maybe a permanent transfer, but it hasn't happened. He was really good for us last season, a well-rounded attacking midfielder. It will be a decent battle between him and Brian Galvan to see who gets their spot in the starting 11. We are playing a considerable amount more than we were last season for the loan, but he did get 9 goals and 5 assists and averaging a 7. In a poor side is quite decent. Now the strikers I'm quite excited about. Samuel Luongo from Spal, a 3.5-star striker. We brought him on loan. What was the monthly fee for 20.5 grand, so 200k over the course of his season. He's really well rounded. His preferred attack and role is a pressing forward, which I have been enjoying in our system occasionally, depending on what kind of players we've got in. A 3.5-star player for us. What does that class him as? A good player from us Serie B sides, which is an improvement on Rajcevic. Next up was Marcelo Trotta, another striker this time from Empoli, who of course got relegated last season. Another striker whose preferred position is pressing forward. And his mentals and physics, actually all of them, is just so well rounded. I think he's probably our best striker at the club. A lot of people would say maybe it's Shea Picasso, but he's got some really glaring stat deficiencies that mean he's probably not. And I think he is a decent player from our Serie A sides at a 3.5-star current ability. I think he's definitely going to be leading the line for us and hopefully securing some victory for us. Next up was Lorenzo Lollo, was signed for £7,000 per month, an Italian central midfielder who, very similar to the other guy that was signed, he can play pretty much any role we require from him in that role. He can also play attack midfielder just in case we have a bit of an injury crisis in that position. A 3.5-star player again, that makes him a decent player for most Serie A sides, which is huge for us. We haven't got decent players for Serie A sides generally in our squad. So, you know, the loan signings, whilst I'm sick to death of me, Director of Football, going in for loans and I wish he'd make some permanent transfers, these kind of loans I can get behind because they actually improve our first 11. The final one was probably the best player we signed this summer, and he's never ever going to play for us. It was Nicolas Escuedo. He's a 4-star, 5-star attacking midfielder, 19-year-old Argentinian. Could have improved massively at this squad, But because he's Argentinian, we can't register him for whatever reason. I think Rajcevic took that spot when I initially registered the squad at the beginning of the transfer window. So despite him being very well suited to Serie A football, you'll never see him play. So that was our transfer business for this season. Of course, we've still got plenty of money sitting in the bank. £15 million and £82,000 still in the wages. We actually started the summer with I think it was £19 million transfer budget and around £60,000 in the wages, but I transferred some of that over to make sure we had a decent balance, and my director of football wasn't scared of making them offers to players with higher wage demands, because we've got the money to spend if we need it, but we haven't used it. In terms of the finances, there's still £30 million sitting in the club's bank, so, we're not struggling for money whatsoever. Now, as I mentioned in the last episode, we have promoted some of our youngsters. 16-year-old Domenico Mangano is a 3-star, 5-star central midfielder. You're going to see a lot of him over the coming season. We'll play him with a 3 central midfielder formation. We've moved the defensive midfielder up, so he is going to get plenty of game time and hopefully will improve massively. We also, of course, promoted Leonardo Salerno, the centre-back, 2.5-star now, 5-star potential. He looks very, very well-rounded for his age. I'm going to give this guy as much game time as possible, as I will do with Bellanzuoli. In fact, I think I'm going to start him from the very start. I think he's going to be our first choice right back. Is he better than Gasparo there and Albertazzi at left back? No. But I think just purely because of the potential and the way this game is going to work in terms of the director of football, once we have a promising young prospect, we're going to have to play them. And that is going to be the way that we're going to improve our first 11. So am I disappointed with the transfer window? Absolutely. We missed out on a couple of signings. Matthias Norman, we made an offer for from Swansea. It was a couple of £100,000 we would have paid, and I would have been quite happy with that. It would have been a permanent transfer, but he rejected the contract offer, so he didn't join the club. Danny Latza, we made an offer for him. I was really against this signing, to be honest with you. He doesn't look that great to me, particularly his physicals let him down massively. In a system like we play, you need good stamina, good pace. Your physicals just need to be well-rounded, and he hasn't got that. But the deal fell through because it didn't get agreed before the end of the transfer window, so that was okay by me. Samuel Mulatari, I was really, really hoping we signed him. We had an agreed fee in place as well of about £4 million after the loan offer went in, and he's a central midfielder, come attacking midfielder, Italian, 20 years old. And this is the kind of signing I would actually make myself. He's young. He had, actually didn't have him scouted, but I would imagine he has potential. So I was really disappointed to miss out on this one, but we did. Fabian Sambueza, I think it was either a loan or a permanent transfer. I think it was a permanent transfer, actually. And I'm glad I didn't get him. 33 years old, diminishing stats. He's not better than Garitano and Galvan to me, so I was happy to miss out on him. And Bruno Costa, a Porto attacking midfielder. We're going for all the attacking midfielders, to be honest with you. He seems okay, he seems decent, but he rejected a contract offer, and it's not the end of the world. So what does that mean for the save going forward? I'm going to persist with the director of football, It makes an interesting challenge, particularly with, we're not signing players who are massively improving our squad. We're not signing players on a permanent transfer. But at least my major concern last season was the players we were signing were very much Serie B quality players. Now, I think the loan players we've signed this season are definitely touching Serie A quality. And now with the youngsters coming into the squad, they will improve massively over the course of this season. Shea Picasso will hopefully continue to improve. He's probably one of our best players in terms of a 3.5-star, 4.5-star player. Definitely one of the best players that we've got on a permanent anyway. So that brings me to today's match, which is going to be against Perugia in the Serie A. We are going to be playing away from home. You have missed one game, which was an Italian Cup, third qualifying round, which we won, no problem. A lot of our loan signings actually came very, very late in the transfer window. On the deadline day, actually, I think we signed 3 or 4. As you can see here, we could only field 7 subs out of a possible 12 because we just didn't have the players. Rajcevic scored on the 14th, Gasparo in the 18th, and I think we absolutely smashed them in terms of stats as well. So we're through to the next round. So this is going to be the starting lineup for our first game in Serie A this season. Antonio Adan will start in goal. Bellanzuoli, our youngster, will start at right back. Luca Bogdan and Salerno, our other youngster, will start as centre back. Gasparo will be our left back. Agazi, Barberis and Lolo will start in the centre of midfield. Galvan gets the head of, what's his name? Garitano. I don't know who to start, so I'm going to chop and change to see who performs better. Marcelo Trotter and Shea Picasa will start up front. So we kick off against Perugia in the first game of the season, shooting from right to left in this first half. And I'll be honest with you, I'm actually quite excited for this season. Despite the fact that we haven't signed anyone again in terms of permanent transfers, I'm just excited by the youngsters that have come into the side. Oh my god, that was nearly in. But yeah, I'm hoping to see some rapid improvements in some of our youngsters and hope that they can take us to the next level, which is mid-table in Serie A really. That is our next level. Perugia with a decent start here, and we've just gave away a penalty. Who's number 5? Salerno, our youngster, has given away a penalty to start with, and Perugia have the opportunity to go 1-0 up, and they take it no bother. Antonio Adan could not keep out of Buonaiuto, however you say his name. Christian, we'll call him. But he's put Perugia 1-0 up, and Salerno, our youngster, is, harsh lesson in your first professional game in the league. We are starting quite well in terms of the stats, but stats don't matter. Another highlight now, Belanzuoli on this right-hand side. Come on, decent delivery. Trotter's there. Trotter gets his head on it. The keeper makes it a complete hash of that. Belanzuoli, our right-back, gets an assist on his first professional start for the club. And fantastic stuff here. The keeper absolutely completely flaps at that. And Trotter puts us 1-1. Oh, I'm going to be so pleased whenever our youngsters perform well. And that's going to be that for the first half. We go in 1-1 despite dominating the possession and shots. It's probably quite an even game in reality. There's not many highlights coming from either side. So if we can get a win from today, it will be fantastic, but I would take a draw. 65 minutes in now, we are going to make a change. Barberis does have a yellow card, and I'm a little bit worried about that. So I'm going to bring on Mangano, our other youngster, to get him some game time. And in terms of his role, he is going to stick to that deep lying playmaker that the other guy was playing. We'll get Lolo off. I don't want to bring on Garitano for him. Actually, we'll get Brian Galvan off and we'll get Garitano on to see how he performs. Galvan had a poor start there. 6.4 average rating for this game. So hopefully with Garitano, we might create a few more opportunities. Lorenzo Lolo handballs. He was on a yellow and now he's on 2 yellows in the space of 2 minutes for Lorenzo Lolo just after taking off somebody else on a yellow. We're going to get off Shea Picasa and we're going to bring on... Who are we going to bring on? We're going to bring on Mungo to try and see this game out now. Obviously, we've dominated the game, but with 10 men, we're definitely not the sort of side that can continue to dominate the game. So I'm going to go defensive for the final 15 minutes or so and hopefully be able to hold out for the draw here, which, although is not great against I think Perugia, a newly promoted side, it's going to have to do for us. There's 20 seconds remaining in this match. And hopefully this highlight means nothing. And it didn't, and that ends the game. Perugia 1, Livorno 1. Not the perfect start, but an okay start. So looking forward to the next episode. I think I'm going to try and fast forward through this season as quickly as humanly possible. I've still got to think about the amount of content I can create in that sort of space time. So I'll maybe... We'll come back for Palermo. Palermo are at home. We were promoted with them all them years back. So I will come back for that. I'm thinking maybe 2 episodes of the league season between transfer windows. So summer transfer windows finished, we'll play Palermo, then somebody else, then January transfer window. And then depending on how the season's going, whether we're fighting relegation, I might create more episodes then. Or if we're fighting for Europe, I'll create more episodes then, But if the season means nothing and we're going to finish 14th again and we're not really in trouble or anything like that, then I'll just fly through the second half of the season as well. So anyway, let me know what you think of the summer transfer business. Do you think I should change any rules about this save in terms of the director of football? Or are you happy with how things have gone? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, if you have enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like. And if you enjoy my content, get yourself subscribed. But until next time, take it easy.